The story begins at the engagement party of a girl named Danica. Her best friend, Ava, was there, along with Ava's ex-boyfriend, Milo, and Danica's fiancé, Teddy. The four of them had been friends since high school. After the engagement, they all decided to go on a drive together. On the way, they met another old friend, Stevie. But after high school, Stevie's life had taken a difficult turn. Her father had run off with her college fund, leaving her behind to survive on small, odd jobs. Still, they invited Stevie to join them on the drive. That day was the 4th of July, and everyone was heading out to watch the fireworks. Teddy stepped into the middle of the road, almost daring an oncoming car to hit him. At the very last second, Milo lunged forward, grabbing Teddy and yanking him out of the way. The others scolded Teddy for his reckless behavior. Then, another car appeared. While swerving to avoid hitting Teddy, it lost control and slammed into the roadside barrier. The car teetered dangerously close to the cliff's edge. Everyone rushed forward, desperately trying to keep the vehicle from plunging down. Inside, the driver was still alive, but despite their efforts, the car slipped over the edge and crashed into the ravine below. Ava and Stevie pleaded, saying they had to help the victim. Meanwhile, Teddy called the police. He told them he had reported the accident and insisted the group should leave immediately. Ava and Stevie disagreed. They couldn't just walk away. Someone needed their help, but the others chose to return. They climbed back into the car. On their way, they even passed a police vehicle heading toward the site. Instead of staying, they went straight to Teddy's house. There, Teddy assured them his father would handle everything and told them to stay silent. After some hesitation, everyone agreed. Even Ava, though reluctant, was convinced to keep the secret. The story then jumps forward 1 year. Ava returns to their hometown. At the airport, she meets a young woman named Tyler, who also happens to be traveling to the same place. Since Ava was driving with Milo, she offered Tyler a ride. During the trip, Tyler revealed she was there to create a horror podcast about a brutal massacre that had taken place in the town back in 1997. Soon after, Ava and Milo arrived at Danica's bridal shower, where Stevie was also present. As Danica opened her gifts, she came across an envelope. Inside was a chilling note. "I know what you did last summer." Shaken, Danica asked who had sent it. She quickly tried to hide her fear, but just then her fiancé appeared. And it wasn't Teddy. Danica and Teddy had broken up. Now, Danica suspected Teddy had sent the note as a cruel prank, because no one else in the world knew about that terrible night. Concerned, Milo, Ava, and Stevie went to see Teddy at his boat to ask him about the envelope. But Teddy swore he knew nothing about it. He hadn't sent the note. In fact, he told them all to leave. He didn't want to get involved. He already had enough problems with his father. That night, Danica felt as if someone was lurking outside her house. Just then, her fiancé Wyatt crept up from behind and startled her. After that scare, Danica went off to take a bath. She put on her headphones, listening to music while she relaxed. Meanwhile, downstairs, the pool lights suddenly flickered on in front of Wyatt. As he walked closer to check, the lights went out again. Wyatt turned around when, out of nowhere, an arrow struck him. Blinded by the darkness, he couldn't see who was attacking. A second arrow pierced him, and before he could react, a killer dressed in a fisherman's slicker appeared and finished him off with a brutal strike from a fishing hook. Upstairs, Danica remained unaware, her music drowning out everything. By the time she returned, Wyatt's lifeless body was laid out before her with a chilling message written beside it. "You can't erase the past." Everyone gathered at the police station. Teddy arrived too. His father had already spoken with the police chief, and a patrol car was assigned to guard Danica's home. Inside, Ava finally opened up to Danica, confessing why she had distanced herself from the group. She admitted that being forced to lie about what happened had broken her, and she couldn't bear the weight of that guilt. By the following day, it became clear to everyone that someone was after them. But who? They still didn't know. Milo asked Ava about that girl Tyler. Danica, meanwhile, started playing Tyler's podcast. In it, Tyler explained that back in 1997, the town had been haunted by a fisherman in a slicker, a killer who hunted down a group of teens after they themselves had committed a murder, and it had all begun with a single note. The group grew terrified because the same thing was happening to them now. But then another truth came out. Teddy's father had erased every trace of the 1997 events from the internet to protect the town's image and keep investors from pulling away. The scene then shifts to Tyler wandering around town while recording her podcast. During this time, Ava went to meet Tyler. Tyler took her to a place called Bayside House, explaining that it was where the fisherman killer had carried out one of his most gruesome attacks. Tyler revealed that 30 years ago, a girl named Julie had received a haunting note that said, "I know what you did last summer." Hearing this, Ava began to grow suspicious. Could Tyler herself be the new killer? But Tyler explained that Julie was actually one of the two survivors from back then, though she refused to speak with her. Saying this, Tyler hurried off to her next lead. Meanwhile, Ava quickly messaged her friends, warning them that Tyler seemed sketchy. But then, right before Ava's eyes, the fisherman slicker killer appeared, and it wasn't Tyler. The killer lunged at Ava. Tyler tried to escape, but the doors were locked. Ava fought back, struggling desperately against the attacker. Suddenly, the killer vanished, only for a heavy cage to drop down, trapping Ava inside. Tyler bolted, running for her life, but the killer's true target was her all along. By the time Ava managed to force her way out of the cage, it was too late. Tyler was dead. Stevie arrived in time to help Ava, but they both froze in horror as the killer displayed Tyler's lifeless body, dangling it right in front of them. Soon after, the police arrived again, but everyone knew the police were under Teddy's father's control. All they would do was cover up the truth. The scene then shifts to Julie, the woman who had lived through it all back in 1997. Even now, those memories haunted her. Ava went to meet Julie, telling her that the same nightmare was happening again. Two of their friends were already dead. Ava begged for her help, reminding her that she had survived once before and asking her to help them survive now. Julie took Ava back to her home. There, she explained that if history was truly repeating itself, then the killer had to be someone connected to the boy who had died in that accident. But Ava admitted she knew nothing about that boy. There was no information about him online, and with the police covering up everything, answers were nearly impossible to find. So Julie gave her only one piece of advice: find the killer before he finds you. Meanwhile, Teddy's father, Grant, and the police chief publicly declared Tyler's death a suicide. They claimed she was mentally unstable, but Milo and Ava refused to accept that. They argued that this wasn't an isolated death. Danica's fiancé had been murdered just days earlier, and Ava herself had been attacked by a fisherman in a slicker. At that moment, another figure entered: Ray, the second survivor from 1997. He told them this had all happened before, and it was happening again. But Grant refused to listen. He insisted the police department would keep everyone safe, and said the church would remain open as a sanctuary for the community. Pastor Judah himself urged everyone to come to the church, where he promised a special prayer for their protection. The scene then shifts to Stevie, who worked at Ray's bar. There, the group confided everything to Ray, and in that moment they learned the truth. Julie was actually Ray's ex-wife. Following Ray's advice, they began searching for the boy who had died in the accident, Sam Cooper. Their first step was to find out whose car Sam had been driving that night. At the office, authorities asked for the license plate number. Ava quickly pretended she had lost the paperwork when her brother was in an accident on the 4th of July the previous year. Milo added that the car was a pickup truck and asked them to check if anyone had registered a similar vehicle around that time. That's when they discovered the vehicle belonged to Pastor Judah. Meanwhile, Danica and Teddy went to the cemetery to search for Sam Cooper's grave. There, they also found the graves of those killed in 1997. Danica even came across an old photograph of a girl named Helen, and at Sam Cooper's grave, someone had left fresh flowers, proof that someone who knew him had recently been there. Danica asked the security guard about it. The guard went inside to check the CCTV footage, but the killer struck, murdering him before he could return. When Teddy went in after waiting too long, the killer slipped past and went straight for Danica. Danica ran, escaping into a warehouse. She tried to hide, but the killer found her. Just as he was about to finish her off, Teddy appeared. The killer fled into the shadows. The scene then cuts back to Julie. Her security system detected motion outside her home. Armed with scissors, she crept toward the door, but it wasn't the killer. It was Ray. He confronted her, demanding to know why she had told Ava to go looking for the killer. Ray explained that one of the girls working at his bar was part of their group, and she was a good kid who didn't deserve this. Just then, Ava and Stevie called them. The focus then returns to the group of friends. They gathered at Danica's house for safety. But when Stevie had to leave for her bar shift, Danica insisted that no one else should sleep alone. That meant Ava and Milo would share a room. Once inside, the two grew close and nearly became intimate. But when Ava whispered, "Punish me, just listen," Milo froze. He pulled away, stopped himself, and walked out of the room. Sitting alone in his car, Milo tried to psych himself up. "You can do this," he muttered. He finally gathered his courage, stepped out, and right then, the killer struck. A rope tightened around his neck, choking the life out of him until Milo was dead. From the window, Ava saw Milo's car driving away. Moments later, a message came from Milo's phone. "I just need some time." The next day, Ava and Danica went to the church to meet Pastor Judah. But he wasn't there. Danica took the chance to sneak into his private room, while Ava distracted him when he returned. Inside, Danica searched his belongings and found a photograph, Judah with Sam Cooper. But suddenly, Judah walked in. Danica hid inside the closet, holding her breath. Afterward, both Ava and Danica rushed to the police chief, insisting that Judah was the killer. But instead of helping, the police chief reported everything back to Grant. He dismissed the girls as hysterical, and Grant ordered that they be kept at the police station for a while. The scene then shifts to Teddy. He was relaxing in a steam bath when he heard noises outside. On the glass before him, someone had written, "You are next." Moments later, doors began slamming shut on their own. As Teddy stepped out to investigate, the killer ambushed him from behind. Teddy fought back, striking with everything he had, then crawled desperately toward his house for safety. But inside, his father Grant sat listening to music, oblivious. Outside, fireworks lit up the night sky. Out on the lawn, the killer dragged Teddy back. Just then, the doorbell rang. Grant opened the door only to find his son, drenched in blood, lying before him. And in that moment, the killer struck again, murdering Grant right there on his own doorstep. Later, Danica thought she heard someone's voice. She got up and went outside, where a girl stood holding a fishing hook. Right in front of her lay Wyatt's lifeless body. When Danica looked closer, she realized it was none other than Helen, one of the girls from the 1997 group. Helen said, "You killed Sam Cooper. Now your fiancé is dead." She warned Danica that she would be next. Then Helen transformed into a ghost and attacked her. But suddenly, Danica woke up. It had all just been a nightmare. Meanwhile, chaos had broken out at the police station. The entire town had gathered after the killer hung Grant's and Teddy's bodies for everyone to see. Ray told the 3 surviving girls that they had to escape immediately. But then Ava discovered Milo's dead body inside his car. With no other choice, the 3 of them stole Teddy's boat and fled. At the same time, the police arrived at the church searching for Pastor Judah, but found him already dead. One officer noticed a photo showing Sam Cooper and Judah, with Stevie standing right beside them, meaning Stevie had been the real killer all along. Stevie then attacked Danica and Ava. She finally revealed her face to them and confessed she had been in love with Sam Cooper. Sam was on his way to pick her up in Judah's car that night. Judah knew about the accident, but took hush money from Grant to keep quiet, so Stevie killed Judah too. When Stevie learned Sam had been in the car that was destroyed, her entire world collapsed. At first, she thought about ending her own life, but then decided everyone else would pay instead. Just then, Ava tried to grab a flare to call for help and screamed. Danica fought back against Stevie. Ray arrived to help them on the boat, but Stevie pressed her fishing hook to Danica's throat. In one swift move, Stevie killed her. Ray shouted,
"Why didn't you come to me? It didn't have to be this way."
Then he shot Stevie dead. Afterward, Ava called Julie and told her that Stevie had been the killer. Julie searched for Stevie's name but struggled to believe it. She fled in panic. Meanwhile, Ava stayed with Ray at his bar, but then she noticed a wound on Ray's hand. The same spot where Ava had struck the killer during Tyler's murder. Fear set in. Ava tried to leave, but the exit was locked. Ray said, "You know it's me." Ava tried to run, but he caught her and attempted to kill her. And just then, Julie arrived to help. She saw Ava badly injured. Ray stepped out, smirking, and said,
Happy 4th of July, Julie.
and that's when the truth came out. Stevie had asked Ray for help in her revenge. Ray was furious that the whole town had buried the events of 1997, pretending nothing had ever happened to the victims back then. That's why he carried out the Fisherman Slicker killings with her. Ray sneered, "Now I'll tell everyone you're the real killer, Julie. You never got over 1997, you did all this." But before he could finish, Ava, on Julie's command, shot Ray with a crossbow. At the same time, Danica, who had survived, crawled to the middle of the pier, barely alive. Days later, both Ava and Danica were shown recovering in the hospital. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Tell us in the comments what you thought of this explanation. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.